Breaking news. Tensions are running high behind the scenes at the Buffalo Bills organization. Rumors are swirling, emotions are flaring, and the atmosphere is electric as the team prepares for what could be a defining season. But before we dive deeper into the latest developments, make sure you've hit that like button, especially if you believe the Bills have what it takes to make it to the next Super Bowl. Honestly, I believe in this team with everything I've got. And if you're with me, drop this in the comments. Go Bills. I believe. The Buffalo Bills universe was rocked late last night, and if you haven't heard yet, buckle up, because this one's going to sting. Von Miller, the future Hall of Fame edge rusher and beloved defensive leader, is no longer a Bill. He's officially headed to the Washington Commanders. This isn't a drill mafia, this is real, and it's happening just as training camp is about to kick off. So what does it mean for Buffalo? Why did this happen now? And where do the Bills go from here? Don't go anywhere, because this story has layers, implications, and possible silver linings that you're going to want to hear about till the very end. Let's start with the shock factor, because let's be honest, nobody expected Von Miller to return to Buffalo this year, but few thought we'd see the news drop this way, this late, and this fast. Reported first by Tom Pelissero of NFL Network. The deal is done. Von Miller, the 8-time Pro Bowler, 2-time Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl MVP, and veteran edge presence, is suiting up in the nation's capital next season. That's right. He's joining forces with the Washington Commanders, who are now assembling one of the most quietly dangerous defenses in the league. Von's not going alone either. He's teaming up with none other than Bobby Wagner. Yes, another future Hall of Famer. And together they're being guided by defensive mastermind Dan Quinn, who's already changing the culture in Washington. And don't forget they've got Jaden Daniels, a rising star at quarterback. So while it's bittersweet for us here in Buffalo, there's no denying Von Miller found himself a solid landing spot, even if it's on the other side of the conference. Now let's rewind a bit, because while this might feel sudden, if you've been paying attention to the state of the Bills' defense, there were signs that this might be coming. Von wasn't the every-down monster he once was. His production was still respectable. 6 sacks, 8 QB hits, 7 tackles for loss in 2024. But the Bills were already moving toward a future where younger talent and depth were going to be the priority. In 2022, when he first arrived in Buffalo, he still had gas in the tank. 8 sacks, 12 QB hits, 1 forced fumble, and 10 tackles for loss. But injuries and age started to add up. Von's role became more specialized, more situational. Yet, even with that context, the timing.
Buffalo's pass rush situation is not in great shape right now. We already know that newly signed edge rusher Joey Bosa is banged up, and his return timetable is uncertain. That alone should be ringing alarm bells. Losing Von now creates a massive void at a time when Buffalo was already thin at the position. And let's be blunt, the Bills' inability to close games on defense is what's kept them from reaching the Super Bowl in recent years. So, what's next for the Bills? They need answers fast. And Tyler Schultz from Chat Sports offered a list of potential replacements that fans need to start paying attention to immediately. Let's go through them. First name on the board, Zadarius Smith. Most recently with the Cleveland Browns and Detroit Lions. And even though he's in his 30s, he just posted a 9-sack season. Let that sink in. That's 9 sacks that you could drop right into this Buffalo defense today. He's not a long-term fix, but if you're trying to win now, he's a plug-and-play force off the edge. In a world without Von, he makes a lot of sense. Next up, Jadeveon Clowney. Yeah, the former #1 overall pick. He's had a bit of a roller coaster career, but his bounce-back performance with the Baltimore Ravens was one of the best under-the-radar stories of that season. He looked dominant again, and if Buffalo could tap into that version of Clowney, it would be a steal. Matthew Judon is another name that really stands out. We're not sure how he's still on the market, but that's exactly the kind of opportunity smart front offices pounce on. He had a great run with both Baltimore and New England, and even after getting hurt late in his Patriots stint, he wasn't bad with the Atlanta Falcons. He's a proven disruptor who could give you edge presence and leadership in one package. Don't sleep on Preston Smith either. He's not the flashiest name, but steady production and veteran reliability go a long way in a defense that needs stability. He still might have some gas left, and Buffalo could use it. And finally, Kaiser White, a bit more of a hybrid linebacker edge option, but still intriguing. The fact that all these names are still available in mid-July is baffling, and potentially a gold mine for a team like the Bills that needs to reload fast. Now, let's bring this home. Yes, it hurts to see Vaughn go. Yes, it creates more questions than answers right now. But remember, this is a team that's been knocking on the door for years. The offense is explosive. Josh Allen is still one of the best quarterbacks in football. But if this team is going to get over the hump, if they're going to finally bring a Super Bowl to Buffalo, it's going to be because the defense finds a way to rise to the occasion when it matters most. That means replacing Von Miller isn't just about numbers. It's about energy. It's about leadership. It's about showing the locker room and the rest of the league that Buffalo's not backing down. So I've got to ask you, Bills Mafia, who do you want to see replace Von Miller? Do you want to bring in a name like Smith, Juden, or Clowney? Or do you think the answer's already on the roster? And be honest, are you rooting for Von Miller to succeed in Washington? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this conversation is just getting started. And while you're thinking about that, let's not ignore the bigger picture. Timing. Training camp is just days away. This isn't the kind of transition you want to be navigating in late July. Ideally, you're entering camp with your core players locked in, roles clearly defined, and the focus purely on execution. But now the Bills find themselves in scramble mode, tasked with finding not just a body, but a legitimate contributor who can help anchor the pass rush and fill the leadership vacuum left by one of the most respected veterans in the league. Let's talk about what this means for the locker room. Von Miller wasn't just a stats guy. He was the guy, a vocal leader, a veteran who knew how to win. His resume speaks volumes. Super Bowl MVP, two-time champion, All-Pro, Pro Bowler, the whole deal. But inside the building, he was someone younger players gravitated toward. He mentored. He led by example. He showed up prepared. His impact was felt far beyond the stat sheet. That's what Buffalo is going to miss most. Not just the 6 sacks or the 7 tackles for loss, but the presence. It's worth noting, though, that there's no drama here. This wasn't a messy split. In fact, Vaughn's move to Washington seems to have been handled with professionalism and mutual respect. There's no bad blood, no friction, just a vet looking for the right fit late in his career and finding it with a team that's building something serious. You can't really fault him. He gets to compete, stay in the mix for another ring, and be surrounded by talent and structure. Good for him. But again, we're Bills fans. We can't help but think, what now? Let's revisit the options one more time with a sharper lens. Zadarius Smith is the most production-ready name on the list. You bring him in, you know what you're getting. No guesswork, no waiting for someone to develop. You get sacks, pressure, and veteran savvy. If Bean is playing for this season, and he should be, Smith makes a ton of sense, especially considering the unknown around Bosa's health. You don't want to go into week 1 wondering if your primary edge threat is ready to go. Matthew Juden is a slightly more complicated case. Injuries are a factor, but the upside? Massive. He's a tone setter. You put him on the field next to Matt Milano and you've got a real nasty front seven. It would send a message to the rest of the league that Buffalo is not taking a step back defensively. In fact, they're doubling down. JV and Clowney is the wild card. The talent is